Hello, Sagittarius, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We're looking at all three sides of it. We've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. The concept being that there are three sides to every story. So looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. These energies can absolutely be swapped. So if you end up resonating more with the energy to my right than to my left, or if you're a cross watcher, then vice versa, please remember that these are general readings. So that is totally fine and totally normal. So take what resonates and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. As always, I'll be using a different tarot deck for each side of this connection. However, I've gone ahead and pulled the overall energy and clarified that with a different tarot deck. So there will be six different decks in this reading, including the advice deck that I'll be using in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. All right, Sagittarius. Right off the bat, we've got some pretty spiritual messages coming through about this connection, because on your side you have spiritual cleansing with the Five of Wands in reverse. So I feel like a lot of this overall energy is really focused on like, what is the purpose of this connection? And what I see here is that you currently, Sagittarius, are dealing with resistance to your own abundance and resistance to attracting the loving relationships that you are the most deserving of into your life. Now, that resistance isn't necessarily something you are consciously aware of, nor is it your fault. Remember, and I talk about this on my channel all the time, but the 95% of your movements, choices, and decisions come from your subconscious. Meaning that only 5% of the way that you interact with your reality is from your conscious mind. Now, your subconscious beliefs are going to be a product of what you've experienced. So if you have experienced betrayal or abandonment or anything that is negative involving loving relationships, starting from when you were a kid, you have internalized those as beliefs that, can be in the form of I am undeserving, I am unlovable, I am the love that I'm wanting isn't possible, or I'm not capable of it, or whatever the case is. And this connection in particular, I really feel like brought all of those to the surface. Like this connection really reflected back at you these feelings of being, I'm not quite sure what they are yet, and like specifically, but these feelings of being unlovable, undeserving, like all of it really, really came through or is coming through in this connection. And so the purpose of this connection is to help you work through those. And that typically comes with pretty painful experiences. Now, this person, they have divine feminine with the King of Cups in reverse. This person is a reflection of your energy. And so I do feel like this is a pretty spiritual connection that you're dealing with here. And not only are they a reflection of your energy, but they reflect back at you this resistance. And so all of those limiting beliefs that we were talking about before is reflected back at you in this person. The way that they've handled this connection, the way that they handle arguments, the way that they have handled just you in general, like all of that is a reflection of these limiting beliefs that live within you. And so I feel like they haven't necessarily been, I don't know, the King of Cups in reverse can have a tendency to be a little bit like emotionally manipulative or play a lot of games or like leave you guessing, leave you not, completely blindsided or whatever the case is for you in particular, because this is a general reading. I feel like this person, however their actions are in this connection, reflected back at you these limiting beliefs that you're needing to work through. Now, in between this connection, you have fire with the Six of Cups. I've noticed that I kept talking about this connection in the past tense, and I do feel like this is either a connection from your past, one that exists in your past, or like it's a connection that exists in your past in the sense that you could be moved on to a completely different connection, and this connection is still affecting your life, or this connection has been in your life for a really long time. But with this fire energy, I feel like there is a lot of intensity in this connection. I feel like when things were good in this connection, they were really good. But when things were bad, they were like really bad. Like the intensity of it is there. And I feel like through that intensity, the triggers associated with the things that kind of went down in this connection or are currently happening in this connection, depending on which matches your situation the best, are very impactful for you and for your kind of inner world. Like, meaning, of course, all connections can impact us, right? But like this connection in particular pokes at things that other connections really haven't before. Like, I feel like the intensity in this connection is one that you've never really experienced. And I feel like that is kind of the point. This intensity is here for a reason, to bring up everything that I was kind of talking about. But let's see what we're actually dealing with in this connection, Sagittarius. Let's start by looking at Sagittarius' side of this connection, clarifying spiritual cleansing with the Five of Wands in reverse. This is spiritual cleansing with the Five of Wands in reverse for Sagittarius' side of this connection. So Sagittarius' side of this connection. Sagittarius' side of this connection, please. You really put yourself out there in this connection, Sagittarius, with the Knight of Wands. I feel like you made yourself very vulnerable for this, and I feel like you were met with not that. Because you have the Knight of Wands and then the Ace of Cups in reverse. So I feel like there's a level of you that like you didn't get this vulnerability matched, and that really, really affected, I feel like, your sense of self-worth in a way. And whether or not you realize it, it really affected your sense of feeling deserving or lovable. Lovable is really the word that's coming through. But let's get some more for Sagittarius' side of this connection. The fear. Yeah, this moon was really brought to the surface here. So it's like this connection literally brought forth, yeah, there's the Knight of Cups in reverse. I was going to say, all of your biggest triggers were brought through this connection. All right, my nose is incredibly itchy right now. Try not to look like I'm picking it. Because I feel like what went down here was like, I don't want to call it worst case scenario. It could have been like, I mean, there's always a worst case scenario, right? But like, it was like, it literally reflected back at you your biggest fears. Like what a worst case scenario looked like to you. For instance, if like your biggest fear is getting cheated on, then this person reflected back. If your biggest fear was getting abandoned, this person reflected that back. Like this person literally reflected back some of these like deep fears that honestly you might not have even been aware of, that they were still kind of existing there. This person's energy, or Sagittarius' energy towards this person. Sagittarius' energy towards this person. Sagittarius' energy toward this person, please. These cards are just like really coming out here. Okay. High Priestess in reverse and the Ace of Pentacles with the World in reverse. You have an opportunity here to close a very major, very painful cycle. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm pretty sure it's a cycle that has existed for you for lifetimes. It could have been several different relationships in this, lifetime, or from past lifetimes, if you believe in alignment with that. But I feel like this is a cycle that has followed you for a very, very long time. And this connection, and the reason that it is so intense, is because it is literally providing you with an opportunity to close out this cycle. I don't know in what regard yet. Like, we'll see as we keep pulling, like, what that really means. But I feel like even though you don't realize it, yeah, because there's the Five of Wands in reverse. It's helping you work through this resistance that has been there, lived within you, within your soul, for so long. And even if you can't see it yet, there's a deeper purpose for this connection. All right, Sagittarius' side of this connection. Sagittarius' side of this connection, please. The Six of Swords to the Nine of Pentacles. See, I feel like you're trying to move forward from this as much as you can toward what you want, toward the Nine of Pentacles here. But I feel like as much as you're trying to move forward, you still feel like you get pulled back to this. Like, I feel like you literally feel like no matter what you do, you continue to get pulled back to this connection. And that is intentional. That is the universe at work here. Because I feel like there is something that hasn't, something, some lesson, some cycle, something that hasn't been fully completed in regard to this connection. And so the more that you try to move forward from it, the more you feel pulled back to it. And I feel like that's really frustrating for you, because I do feel like this is a past connection. I feel like at the very least, you want to get to a place where you're indifferent about it, like where you're able to say, it doesn't really matter to me if this connection's in my life or whatever the case is. And like, you might say that, but like deep down, you don't really believe that kind of energy. All right, Sagittarius' energy toward this person. Sagittarius' energy toward this person, please. There's that devil. See, there's an attachment to this. And this attachment, this devil runs deep. Because here's the thing. Say, for instance, you have a fear of abandonment that stems from childhood. You had a mom or a dad who abandoned you. Your parents abandoned you. You felt abandonment in, form of other relationships, whatever the case is. You have a fear of abandonment. You meet this person. You have a great relationship. Things are whatever, regular relationship. And then at the very end of it, they just leave. They up and leave. They abandon you. And you're left wondering why. And like all of those feelings that you felt as a kid are brought back up. Well, the thing is, you create an attachment to this connection, because then what you say is, I am feeling now these buried feelings that I felt when I was a kid. Therefore, I need to have this connection back, because if I get this connection back, it's going to heal that sense of abandonment that I have. Now, this is not something you are thinking through, right? That you're consciously thinking, but there's an inner child in you that's listening to those limiting beliefs that is saying, I have an abandonment fear that is being triggered through this connection, and I need this connection back in order to alleviate that fear, or that the pain associated with that I have experienced possibly many times over. And I'm not saying abandonment is a thing. It could be like a betrayal, or it could be anything, whatever resonates for you. And so this attachment that is created in this connection, it is actually stemming from this fear. The fear that was brought to the surface through this connection is a reflection of the pain that you've experienced as a kid. And you might not realize it. This is, all connections, I do believe, are attracted into our life for a reason. And every person that we meet is here to teach us a lesson. But there are specific connections, and those are those divine connections that, this YouTube community is obsessed with, that make it, that really teach us the biggest lessons that we need to learn in this lifetime. And so that's why these connections are such a big, the whole twin flame thing is such a big buzzword in this community, is because a lot of people are dealing with those types of connections that they feel ridiculously attached to for some reason. And they believe that it is because that person's meant to be in their life forever, or because that person is there to be their divine partner for the rest of time, or whatever the case is, when in reality, the romantic aspect isn't the point. The romantic aspect is never the point of those connections. What is the point is whatever the hell they're stirring up within you. And that's the hard lesson that, I specifically had to learn with my connection. And no, not all connections are the same. So I'm certainly not saying that that's the case. But I will say that the majority of people that I have experienced working with in terms of their divine connections, it always comes down to the realization that detachment, is the goal. And that detachment is going to lead to one of two things. You are either going to detach, you are going to move on, move forward, meaning that you get to a place of indifference where you're able to say, I'm okay if this, because you learn your lessons, you find your worth, you heal what needs to be healed, you're able to move on, and you say, I don't really care if this person's in my life or not. And they come back, right? That does not happen until detachment happens. Or you are able to heal, move forward, you're indifferent about this person being in your life, and you find your partner that is actually meant for you. And so we're obviously dealing with a romantic connection here, I believe, when we're talking about this twin flame situation. But I feel like when I talk about those, I feel like I need to make it very clear that I do believe that there's a very backwards way of viewing that in this YouTube community, and this whole obsession with, oh, your person is coming back and this, that, and the other thing is going to glorify this attachment that is keeping you stuck in a very painful cycle. And so that's why you have spiritual cleansing. This person is helping you work through some of the deepest wounds that you have experienced, that your soul carries. And they're still a very important person in your life, but it does not mean that the goal of this connection is romantic. So keep that in mind. All right, this person's energy. Okay. Yep, they flipped your world upside down. There's no doubt about that. And I feel like you're still, because there's the Eight of Pentacles and the Six of Cups again. So there's the Eight of Pentacles, and then that same Six of Cups as you have in the middle. And we saw this, have we seen the Six of Cups yet? I think I saw it when I looked back in the deck. But there's the Three of Swords. I mean, this was a very painful experience. And so now where your focus needs to be is not on trying to fix the pain that happened in this connection, meaning hoping that this person comes back or hoping that, they become your knight in shining armor or whatever the case is, but trying to get to the root of this pain so that you can heal the aspect of it that is keeping you attached to the pain in this connection in general, because that is the hardest part. It's the hardest part of these connections is you feel so heavily attached to them because you want them to fix this pain that is the reason they're so painful is because all of these triggers from your past are being brought up, and then you look to that person to fix that pain for you. And that's, again, all very much happening subconsciously. And take it from someone who's been through the twin flame journey. It's painful, but the place that I'm in right now, and the person who is my current partner is so much better than I ever thought possible, especially when I was looking through the connection that my supposed twin flame provided me. All right. Let's start, Sagittarius, by looking at this person's connection toward you. This is this person's energy towards Sagittarius. And if you have made it this far in this reading, then I appreciate your openness and willingness to hear different perspectives, because I think that is really important in any aspect of life. Okay. This person's energy towards Sagittarius, please. Star, Two of Wands, Six of Cups in reverse. Okay. This is interesting because this isn't talking about their energy toward you. This is talking about the purpose of their energy for you. And we'll get more on their energy, but this person put you into alignment with healing your past. In a way, they were your past coming back. So that is why, it was so, and there is such an intensity here, is this was a lesson that exists from possibly even childhood coming back up through this person. But I want to know more about what's going on with them. I guess, my intention is the messages that Sagittarius needs to hear. So I guess we'll stick with those. What messages does Sagittarius need to hear about this person's energy toward them? This person's energy towards Sagittarius. What does Spirit want Sagittarius to know about this person's energy? This person's energy towards Sagittarius. Okay. Queen of Cups, Nine of Pentacles, Knight of Swords in reverse. Okay. The biggest thing that comes through in these twin flame connections is that the divine masculine, if you will, that's usually the way that I read my readings come through, is the feminine and masculine energy, which has nothing to do with gender. We all have that within us. We all have both divine feminine and divine masculine energies within. But one of the biggest, concepts of these twin flame connections is that the runner, which is usually the divine masculine, is running from what they can't face. They're running from the healing that needs to be done. They're running from loving themselves, which means they're running from loving you. And though that is the case, if you think back to the reflection that takes place in these connections, if they're running from loving you, then that reflection within you is that you are running from loving you. And I was in a connection that was very, very similar to this. I dated someone for 7 months, and it was, I don't know why I was shuffling the cards and I just kept hearing, tell your story, tell your story. So hopefully this hits home with someone out there. I was dating someone for 7 months, and it was a whirlwind of a relationship, like very intense, very, just all the stuff. And after he broke up with me, because he ended up leaving me, I was left completely devastated. And I had been in relationships before. I had been in much longer relationships before. But this specific relationship, even though it only lasted 7 months, destroyed me. And it wasn't much longer after that relationship happened. I had nothing to do with the spiritual world. I had never heard of online tarot readers before. I didn't even believe in it. I had no connection to the spiritual world. I was just at this time, like, starting to get an interest in astrology, when I stumbled upon, through a friend, she sent me a tarot reader that she had seen on Twitter, and I watched her reading, and it was like, bam, like that was the connection I was dealing with. And it talked about emotional manipulation and eventual abandonment and like all of the stuff that I was dealing with. And that then started my spiritual journey. I mean, from then on, I got so curious about this world. I ended up buying a deck for myself. I dove into reading tarot for myself, and I did that for several months until I started a tarot channel. Not this one, but the tarot channel that I had in the past. Well, during all of this time, I had become very convinced that the man that had just broken up with me was my twin flame. And I spent every single day, I would say, obsessing over how I could heal or what I needed to do to get this person back. And I watched tarot reading after tarot reading after tarot reading. I was doing readings for myself. I mean, I was all over the place with it. And I realized that he was emotionally abusive. I realized that I was allowing him to be. I realized his reflection in my energy. Like, I realized all the stuff. But I had this belief that he was going to wake up one day and realize what he was missing out on, me, and my energy and my worth. And he was going to decide that he was going to heal and do what he needed to do to get me back into his life. And that became my mindset for the longest time. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing while I'm waiting for him to figure his stuff out and come back. And that lasted for a while. It lasted for a while until I eventually hit a wall with it and realized that I was hoping for somebody to love me who was incapable of loving me. And this was a direct reflection of my relationship with my father. And man, I'm really getting deep. I don't know why I feel the need to tell all this, but I really hope this hits home with someone out there, because it's going to play into this, I promise. And that lasted, this mental breakdown took place. I ended up like leaving the state I was living in, like going back home to where I left California, moved back to Oklahoma, and deleted my tarot channel because my whole tarot channel was about helping people in twin flame connections, and came back home and had to rebuild myself up from the ground up. And about, I'd say, like a year into this healing journey, I had this realization that I had all of this anger and all of this frustration toward this person that I believed was my twin flame, and still do. And I realized that every little thing I had thought about him, every angry thought, every frustration I had, my biggest complaints about his personality, all of that was all actually directed at me. It was all stuff that I felt about myself. And I didn't realize it until I was able to distance myself from the connection and heal from it. When I had that realization, it was so freeing. And it was the realization of, okay, I have to forgive myself so I can, forgive this person and finally just separate this person from my life. And I was able to do that. And a few months after that, I met my current partner, who is hands down the love of my life. So who he is, who my current partner is the potential I was looking for in that connection. So long story, I know. But what I'm saying is that connection, I get the intensity of those connections. I get the pull. I get the fact that these people that come into your life and essentially blow up your life are the reason for your awakening and all of these things. It's hard. It's hard to distance yourself from them, and it's hard to think of a life even without them. But when you can, you will then open yourself up to what it is that you deserve. So sure, this person might be running from you, but that does not mean that the day that they stop running is the day you get to be happy. And my goal is to help people on this channel realize that the day that the person that you want chooses you is not the day you get to be happy. The day you choose you is the day you start to be happy. Okay. So anyway, we're going to keep going. This person's energy towards Sagittarius. I don't even know if anyone has made it this far in this video because my gosh, I got dizzy telling that story. This person's energy towards Sagittarius. And I started the tarot channel up with a different intention, and it has made me substantially happier, substantially more happy, much more happier than that other one ever did. All right, this person's energy towards Sagittarius. See, they don't have the confidence in themselves to be able to show up for themselves. Therefore, they don't have the confidence in themselves to show up for you. And that is reflected back at you in all of the things that you are dealing with. You know, all of the insecurities that have been brought to the surface. This person not choosing you has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with themselves and their inability to love themselves. But remember, there's a reflection there. Them not choosing you is also a reflection of you not fully loving yourself enough to choose you. This person's energy towards Sagittarius. I don't even know if anyone's going to watch this full reading. I don't know why I'm talking so much. This person's energy towards Sagittarius. This person's energy towards Sagittarius, please. The Five of Wands. They are your resistance. They are your resistance to your abundance, to your happiness. Literally. They are not the source of it. They are not the source of the person that you are, of the love that you are deserving of. They are not. The reason that things aren't moving forward here is so that you can work through that resistance. They are the reflection of the resistance that you have to the love that you are deserving of. And so understand that just because, like, I remember when I was dealing with that person, it was, if this person doesn't love me, I'm never going to be loved. I'm never going to love anyone the way that I loved him. I had all of these beliefs about that, and I couldn't have been further from the truth. It was just the wrong way of loving someone and the wrong way of being loved. I didn't know what it was like to be loved. I didn't understand unconditional love. I thought unconditional love meant unconditional tolerance. I thought I had to fight for love, that, oh, I'm going to wait around for him and then he's going to heal and then we're going to get together and it's going to be this magical reunion and then we're going to live happily forever after. And that just, it ended up ruining my life. Honestly, it did. And like, I got myself so stuck in this belief that I kept myself from my current partner for so long. And he lived, it's funny because if that connection wouldn't have blown up, I wouldn't have moved from California to Oklahoma. And my current partner and I, we actually went to high school together. We didn't know each other, but we did. And I had to come back. I felt like my life was falling apart, but my life literally fell together. I moved back here and met him, and my life has been better than it ever has because of that. And so, and not because he healed me, but because I healed myself, and then he reflected that love back at me. So understand that the happiness that you're wanting, it exists. It just might not exist through this person. It could, it very well could, but you're going to have to detach in order to get there. This person's energy towards Sagittarius. Yep. Look, Empress, detach. It's funny because I feel like that message just clarified what I said. Your detachment, it's so weird because basically what this is saying, like what this reading and the message is coming through, is it does not matter what this person's energy towards you is. It matters how you handle your energy right now. That might not be what you were looking for in this reading. Hopefully you got something out of it, but this is about you detaching. This person's energy is about your detachment, you being the Empress, right? Your detachment. With the devil, you have the devil here, they have the devil in reverse. Your detachment is the point of this connection, and you might not have any idea how to do that, but if you stop setting your intention to this connection working out, you start setting your intention to being able to be detached and free from it, things will start to change. This person's energy towards Sagittarius, please. Three of Cups. Things fell apart for a reason. That's what this is saying. Things fell apart for a reason. Can I get more on this Three of Cups energy? What was this reason? What does Sagittarius need to see? That's the reason these messages are coming out so straightforward, is someone out there is really needing to hear this. Because here's the Judgment in reverse. This is needing to see a truth that you're not wanting to see. And then the Five of Cups in reverse is acceptance. There's this need to accept that things needed to fall apart. And that the healing from this is the actual goal. It's not, the connection is not meant to be what you think it is. And where I'm at now with that connection and like with where it stands in my past is I'm so grateful that it happened. And also very happy it didn't work out the way that I wanted to. Very, very happy it didn't work out the way I wanted to. In fact, it's now funny to me that I wanted things to work out a certain way and being where I'm at now. So have a little bit of faith. The universe has your back in bigger ways than you expect, but your attachment to certain outcomes is going to keep you attached to people that aren't meant for you. They aren't meant for you in the long term. So we're gonna hop on over to the extended. If there's anyone still watching, thank you so much, as always, Sagittarius, for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and resonated with someone out there, especially my long spiel of my story. I try not to talk about myself on this channel, but I do feel like sometimes my experiences are important. So I do sometimes talk about my experiences in these readings. So thank you for listening. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. Bye, Sagittarius.